Okay, last week we stopped around here. Yeah, about delivery. Okay. We talk a little about margin accounts, uh, how the daily settlement runs, and how the cash flow runs, with the margin accounts on both sides. What is the difference between open interest and volume trading? Some practice about future contract, which include that they close out before the maturity. Also, the offsetting trade to closing out the future option, so the future position. Okay, and finally the delivery. Delivery here mainly is mainly about the obligation of the short trader. Okay, so as long as the contract have more flexibility, the delivery is more easier for the short trader, right? So conclusively, here are two questions, right? When a new trader is completed, what are the possible effects on the open interest? Then can the volume trading in a day be greater than open interest? So as long as you understand the difference between trading volume and open interest, you should understand what this two could be. Mm, okay, so type of orders. Well, this part is not really uh the part we should talk too much in this course, right? This is coverage and 4300 investment. Okay, so I don't only want to talk a little. Uh, okay, basically we have two major types of orders. The other types of orders are kind of some variations, adding more conditions, adding more uh, uh, say covenant in the very basic two types of orders. Okay, so the two types of orders are market and the limit. Okay, so how many numbers in the market order? If I have a market order, how many numbers in that order? Or what kind of numbers I should specify? Uh-huh. Yes, the volume, right? For market order, you have one number, that is the volume. Let's say quantity. Okay, this is the only number you need to indicate in a market order. Okay, in a typical trading process, okay, after you enter into the detail of one stock, usually well there will be a big price like 5.000 here in your mobile phone page. But if you check the detail of the trading, there will be a list of currently running order, right, from selling to purchasing. Okay, so you have the price, also quantity. Okay, so there will have some quantities in. Okay, this buy one, three, four, sell one, three, four. So the sequence here is that the sell one, the first selling price is the one that most close to the execution. Okay, usually the price list will be like this. Okay, 5.010, 5.030, 5.035. Okay, you don't need to have consecutive numbers here. Okay, it's depending on how other people put the order. So in the first buy prices, typically if the market price is 5 only, okay, typically the buy one should be 4.99. So that's how they get the market price, right? They take the midpoint of the most favorable selling price and the most favorable purchasing price. I take the midpoint. That's how you determine the market price. Right, that's a mechanism of a market maker. 4.987 like this. Okay, if you put a market order, you say I want to purchase 100 shares without indicating any price. Okay, market order will immediately go to the seller list, find the best offer. If your purchasing quantity are quite low, usually the first selling order will fill into your purchasing order. So by the end, if you put your market order there, you are very likely to see that in this case, you will end up spending 5.0 for each share. Also, you will have some commission fee, platform fees in. Okay, but that kind of thing are trivial. Okay. In some extreme case, if the market are quite fluctuate, by the time you put your market order here, maybe by T0, say T0, okay, when the broker can react to execute your market order, maybe the stock price already rise. Okay, in that case, your selling order, maybe in that case, your purchasing order may be executed with a relatively higher price, maybe for 5.0203. We don't know if the market fluctuates too much. Okay, the market order, you cannot really control the price. Okay, the broker only find the best price for you at the time they can seek for a filling order. But as long as you don't restrict that, yeah, there are some randomness. Okay, so that's for market order. You specify quantity. So your purpose is quite simple. You want to execute this order as soon as possible. Okay, without any restriction on the price. Okay, so the broker's obligation is to find the best offer under your request. Okay. So another type is limit order. Okay, for limit order, what kind of numbers we need to specify? Yes, okay, price and quantity. For limit order, you have two numbers. Okay. So instead of a market order, if you put a limit order, it'd be like this. Okay, for example, I choose the second best buy price. Okay, so my limit order will be like I will try to purchase the stock with 4.97 per share, and also I want to purchase 100 shares. Okay, so the limit order indicate the price. And by the time you put your limit order to the market, it is not necessary to be executed immediately because if the market was so stable, okay, by the time you put the order, even after several minutes, the stock price is still there. Okay, you won't have any seller to fill your order because you are second best. There is still someone before you. Also, now the best selling order is for 5.01, but you only want to purchase the share with 4.97. Okay, so nobody will fill your order. But then if the market fluctuates, okay, by some chance it drop a little, so some seller would like to sell the shares with a price you indicate here, or even lower. In that case, your order will be filled. Okay, so very likely, in a very liquid market, once your limit order got filled, you will see that they will exactly be filled with this price, or even somehow lower. Okay, sometimes the market fluctuates too much, it drops so fast. Okay, then in that case, sometimes your limit order got executed with an even lower price, but it will never exceed this level. This is like an upper bound. Okay. Well, the problem here is if you have the limit order and the stock price keep increasing, Your limit order will never be executed. Right. You set your limit order here, but just after the time you set the order, the stock price keep increasing. Then nobody will accommodate you. Okay, seller want to sell it with a much higher price. That's the nature of human. Okay, for you will now have a chance to execute the order. Right, your order will just be there until the end of the day, automatically canceled. That's a result. Okay, so the the conclusion we want to get with market order and limit order is that with a market order, you specify quantity without specified price. So the consequence is that it can secure the execution. But it cannot secure the price. Okay. On the other hand, with limit order, you secure the price. Okay. More precisely, you secure the upper bound of your paid price. But you cannot secure the execution. Okay, so their relationship is not about a rough order, a more moderated order. Not that they are not like in a progress. Okay, these two are kind of in parallel, comparative, because in terms of the consequence, in terms of their objective, they are just at the opposite. They're just at the opposite. One trying to prioritize the execution, one trying to prioritize the price. Okay, you can have the same thing for the other side. You can have the same thing also. Okay. So these two are two major types of orders. Okay, other types of orders are all modifications about them. For example, stop loss. Stop loss is like that. So stop loss, you have one price plus one quantity, but it does not really runs as the limit order. Rather, it runs like a market order. So this price is not the price for your trading. This price is a trigger. Stop loss is like, for example, in this case, you want that right now you hold a stock, but you don't want to lose too much, right? So you set the stop loss order. You can set a stop loss order like with trigger price 4.5, quantity 100. So what you want is that once the fair market price, market midpoint fall to 4.5, this order got triggered, and the order will immediately help you to put a market order about 100 shares in the market, so that this order will sell your 100 shares to the market. Okay, so this 4.5 is not about the price you sell to the market. This price is about the trigger. If the stock price drop to 4.5, they sell your shares, but then they increase back. Well, unlucky. But if the stock price keep increasing, this stop loss order will never run. Okay, stop loss. Okay, this is like a conditional market order, right? Once the market drop. Okay, so this is for you to stop loss, right? Sometimes for one investment, you tend to secure the revenue, secure your profits, right? You may think about it, okay, now the fair price is 5, but once the price rise to 6, it's time to run. Okay, it might be the maximum we can get. Then you can also have something similar, right? Setting a price plus a quantity. Okay, maybe, but here to secure the revenue, your trigger price is about maybe 6, much higher than current market price. Quantity maybe still 100. Okay, for this order, We call it market if touched. So you can see that these two are almost the same. Okay, they all have the market order inside, and they just have different conditions. One condition is to as long as the price get lower to a price. Okay, here is as long as the price get to higher into a trigger price. Okay, so if you modify this into another way by saying I want the order to put a market limit order after it got triggered. Okay, then in the order you should specify two prices. Okay, price one, price two, quantity. The price one is a trigger. Once the market price drop or increase to that level, this trigger this order got activated. Okay, and then the order will put a limit order with a price here as well as quantity here to the market. Whether this limit order will be executed or not, well, that's the problem about limit order, but we don't know. But this function of this order is to put that limit order as long as the condition got met. This one we call it stop limit. Right, all the remaining are the same, are kind of the same. Okay, they are just modification for market order and limit order. Okay, I mean we have terribly a lot of type of orders depending on the broker service. Okay, so here I think if you have taken the FIN 4300, you should learn this already very well. Okay, so you don't really want to spend too much time here. Regulations. Well, here we want you to have a kind of comprehensive understanding for regulations. So in the future market, their regulation are mainly done by the CFTC, Commodity Future and Trading Commissions. Okay, they tend to prevent questionable trading practice. Well, this one is in the future market, right? We have something similar in other markets. Okay, each segment of the financial market have its own regulator. It's not that if you are before the undergraduate study, okay, if you are just a high school student, it's enough for you to just understand that, okay, the government regulate the market. That's enough. But now comes to now, you should be a bit more specific, okay? Which corporation, which institution managing the regulation, and what is their obligation? Okay, for future market, they mainly trying to protect the public interest, also the prevent the questionable trading practice. Usually, it's about the second point. Okay, protect the public interest is kind of a too big word. Usually, this only matters when the crisis comes. Okay, commonly their main job is to prevent questionable trading, those fraud, cheating, right? You know some kind of traders they put a forward contract there, but they don't really put enough collateral or they don't submit enough margin into the account. Okay, this kind of things are kind of regulated by CFTC. Okay, in other segment of the market, right, we have something similar for securities. Okay, bonus question. Okay, any one of you can answer it within 20 minutes, within 20 seconds. Okay, I give you 1 point. Okay, in the final grade. Okay, what is the name of the institution protecting your saving account? 20 seconds from now. What is the name of the institution protecting your saving account? 1 point. Nobody wants. 1 point. Uh, Unlucky. 1 point. Yes, it's the FDIC. Full name, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Okay, so the function of FDIC is that once you put your money there, okay, it at least secure that you under a certain threshold, you will have enough uh, you will have all your money back once the bank go to bankruptcy. Okay, we know that the bank itself looks stable, but actually banks also have their risk, right? They have their credit risk very much, right? You got deposit interest rate from the bank, not because the bank directly got some money from the central government. No, that is because the bank lend out your money to some other corporations to earn the lending interest rate. They earn the earn the lending deposit interest rate difference. That's how the bank runs, right? And if in some extreme case, many of the company defaults, they don't repay their loan to the company to the bank, then the bank also have some solvency problem. Okay, they once you want to redeem some of your savings, they say, oh, sorry, we don't have enough cash. Then here, the bank also have the bankruptcy. Okay, here is the role of the FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Right. Here is the job of FDIC to give you some security. Okay. In China, we also have the same situation, same corporation. Okay. Basically protect every account for about 500K, half a million. Okay, if your savings is lower than half a million, they will give you full protection. If you are even larger, well, that's another case. Okay, so in your saving account, in terms of banking, you have the FDIC. Well, in terms of securities, in terms of stock trading, you have another institution, right? It's called SIPC. Okay, SIPC, their function are more likely similar to CFTC here. Okay, they are about to protect the regular trading of securities. Okay, so next point, accounting and tax. Okay, there are two ways for accounting with derivative contracts. Which two? In accounting, we try to differentiate derivative trading into two categories. Which two?
For the hedging and the non-hedging because they have different way to recognize the revenue and from the business.
Yes. Okay. Typically, in accounting standard, right, they trade hedging and non-hedging differently. Okay, so they tend to put speculation arbitrage into the same category because no matter you use arbitrage opportunity or you're just taking the risk, speculate on the price movement. Okay, you are about to earn profit in the market, right? On the other hand, hedging, the purpose are totally different. Right? Hedging usually is not about profit, it's about smooth cost. Okay, so these two, the purpose are totally different, so their treatment are also different. For profitable move, okay, we tend to regulate it a lot because if you purely speculate, sometimes your move can be very dangerous if you put too much money, too much leverage there. Okay, so typically the government don't really encourage you to take too much risk in speculation or to fall into arbitrage too much unless you are the one with the enough expertise. Okay, but for hedging, right, that's kind of common, kind of helpful for the overall operation of the company. So the idea here for hedging is that it is kind of helpful. Okay, so in accounting, right, we have the hedging accounting, the hedge accounting and accounting for non-hedge products. Okay, so for non-hedge products, usually your profit and loss should be recorded accordingly, mark to market, as well you should according to the market price to update the gain and loss in your accounting financial statements. Okay, but for hedging, right, the process can be much easier. Hedging typically they only account the profit or loss at the same time as the item being hedged. So usually your process don't really count for several times consecutively. You don't need to update it all the time. Rather, by the time you realize the hedging profit or loss, okay, you take a one-time record. That's enough. Okay, so for the administrative operating in the accounting part, okay, hedging accounting is much easier. Right. So for tax, okay. Okay, anything about tax you learn from the textbook? Anything you can share? Anything?
There's a threshold for um, the tax rate is different for the people have different income.
Uh-huh.
And there's a differences between long-term capital gain and the short-term capital gain.
Uh-huh. That's all? Okay. Yes. Okay. So in the US, the regulation is like this. Okay. They tend to promote long-term investment in the market. Okay, this is one thing we don't have in our country. Okay, because of many reasons. Because our definition about the stock market is somehow different from the stock market in the U.S. Okay, so in the U.S., right, they have a very high attention to investment. So they tend to distinguish investment into two categories: short term, long term. So for short term, your tax rate will follow your personal tax rate, personal income tax rate. Okay, as high as to about 50%. Okay, in the U.S. Okay, in some other countries it can be more severe. Okay, like in some North Europe country, right, their income tax can be as high as 80%. Okay, so well, this kind of some other issues, but for short-term gains, you make profit, but you are a high income person, you are very likely need to pay about 40% tax to the government. That will be a huge burden to you. Like like you earn 100, but you need to pay 40 to the government, like freely. Okay. So and for long term, the capital gain, the maximum tax rate for capital gain is locked for about 20%. So this is much lower, at least for high income person, right? This is much lower, right? For low income person, although they still have some discount in the long-term capital gain, but relatively the advantage for low income person to make a long-term investment is not as high as those with high income person. Okay, so this is also some very interesting setting in terms of law. So they tend to persuade those rich people to have more long-term investment. But for low income person, well, you are freely to do more to explore. Okay, if you're trying to bet, okay, we don't really stop you. Okay, so that's about tax rate. And a subsequent question is that how can you make your derivative transaction to be qualified as a long-term gain, as a long-term investment? Okay, so here still the tax treatment have some similar treatment like the accounting. Okay, accounting have they have a more favorable setting for hedge accounting. So still for derivatives, tax, okay, they also have a more favorable setting for hedging. Okay, if you are derivative trading is about hedging, okay, you are and to after you meet some requirements about maturity, you will be automatically qualified as a long-term investment with that derivative. But if you're just purely speculation, okay, it's very hard for you to be qualified into long-term gain. Okay, that's for institutions. That's for institutions that you will work. Okay, for individuals, the rule are kind of more easier. For individuals, they have a 60-40 rule, 60-40, right? Yeah, 60-40 rule basically means that any gains any gain or lose you get from the derivative contract, okay, 60% will be counted into your short-term gain, 40% will be counted into your long-term gain. So that's kind of a convenient practice for individual trading. Okay. But in general, we would say, many only a few individuals trade derivatives. So from an institutional perspective, taking hash have many benefits in accounting and tax. Okay, it can reduce your administrative work in accounting. It also help you to reduce your tax expense. Right. So this is about accounting and tax. Okay. This slide is about a conclusion for forward contract versus future contract. So you can see that they have many detailed differences. Although the fundamental difference for forward and futures are just about their trading place. Okay. But just because this one fundamental difference, they have many subsequent result here. Okay. Futures exchange traded, not really a private, it's standard. Usually have a range of delivery days, daily settlement, close out before the maturity, virtually no credit risk. They have pretty much a lot of benefits with future contract, right? But still nowadays, OTC market is still a very important component of the market. And if you can recall the picture we have in the introduction, OTC market is many times larger than the exchange. Okay, so throughout our subsequent captures, we will both take care of the future contract and forward contract. Okay, exchange costs. Well, this is more about a practice. Okay, I remember that I mentioned this in the first class, like the first Thursday. Okay, a practice is that from some of the currencies, especially some sterling, like Great Britain pound, euro, Australian dollar. Okay, they tend to quote in a way that for each one that currency, how much US dollar you should pay. Okay, so that's why for Great Britain pound, the exchange rate always quote like 1.3, 1.2. Okay, they don't really mention GBP versus USD or USD versus GBP. They don't really mention the content because this means you need to pay 1.3 USD for 1 GBP. Okay. For other currencies, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, other currencies, okay, we typically quote as a unit of foreign currency per US dollar. That's why when you trade Chinese yuan with US dollar, you will typically see the exchange rate quoted like 7.2, 7.3. Okay, they don't even mention that this is about US dollar versus Chinese yuan or vice versa. They don't mention that because in practice, we use a number to refer that how much Chinese yuan you need to pay for $1. Okay. So well, some kind of follow up in the regulation. Okay, so in the OTC markets, right, bilateral clearing is quite common, and it was the only practice before the crisis. Okay, so in this picture, you can see that if you go through bilateral clearing, the relationship can be very complicated. Contract, each line represent one contract, then the different contractual relationship can be very messed up. So nowadays they tend to go through the CCP to have a central clearing, right? So the CCP can have an oversight about all the orders go through them. And also for bilaterally clear the derivatives, there are more regulations, even if you don't go with CCP. Okay, they have basically the regulation is about to have the master agreement with the credit support annex. The credit support annex is basically a very lengthy contract, indicate that although the forward contract is a bilateral trading, it do not really require you to put a margin like in the exchange, but still you need to have some way to show your capacity, to show your credit. Okay. In some case, you need to post collaterals. Okay. So here with this setting, you can somehow think about it like this. If you are kind of a very big institutional trader, you are quite liquid, you have enough cash, perhaps go to the exchange is much more beneficial. Because usually for a large bank, your trading in derivative contracts are kind of quite intensive. You trade it almost every day. Okay, so you need to find a very liquid market, and since you have enough cash as well as marketable securities, okay, it's very easy for you to meet the margin account requirements. Okay, and also it's easy for a large bank uh, to tolerate the daily variance in their margin account, right? But if you are more like an individual, small company, uh, perhaps participating in the exchange is kind of too costly for you because you don't have that much demand in trading. Also, the commission fee, platform fee, things may be too costly if you are less frequently involved in derivative contract. In that case, find a bilateral clearing derivatives in the OTC market might be more beneficial, right? You don't even need to have enough cash. Maybe like you as a small company, at least you have your office, right? You're using your office as the collateral. Put it there, settle a bilateral contract with some counterparty in the OTC market. That's going to be much more easier. Okay. So yeah, that's about the post-crisis regulation. Basically, we have more contracts under the supervision of CCP, and even if for those non-standardized transactions cleared bilaterally, you need to have more files, more contracts like CSAs. Also, the margin you need to post with the third party, even if you use something like the collateral. Okay, so I think it's the end of this chapter. Well, if you have any questions until now, no? Okay, so uh, so yeah, no, then we move to the fifth chapter. So we jump from the second to the fifth, and then we get back to the third. So one, two, three, fifth, five. So these four chapters are about future contracts. Generally a great job for Weichen and Zhao Jianan. Thank you for your help for the class participation. So in the fifth chapter, we will have Gai Jingwei and Fan Yihong. Okay, be prepared. I will ask you a lot of questions. And by the way, Chen Siyang and Chen Xinyu, I don't know why you two add your name here, but usually for each kind of capital, they only have one group. I don't know why you kind of duplicate your name here, but I won't count you here. I'll find another place to put your name. Okay, thanks. So yeah, move to the fifth capital. Move to the fifth capital. Okay. In the fifth capital, I will have a very strange sequence. Okay, I won't talk about it one by one. Okay, I will first move to the example that we have in the introduction. Okay, so we have the example here. Let me brush the whiteboard a bit. We have the example. So currently for a non-dividend paying stock, the price is 40 per share. And the forward contract, 3 months forward contract for this stock is was US dollar 39. 1 year US dollar interest rate 5% per annum. Okay, forget about continuous compounding. This is a typical example we have in the introduction. Okay, so 该经纬来翻译后。Let's do it one by one clearly to let all the other students to record content. Okay, so the first question is if currently you have 40 US dollar in your hand, you save it into the bank. The bank tell you that the interest rate is 5%. And so my question is 3 months later, how much you have in your saving account? Yeah, save $40 for 3 months. The yearly interest rate is 5%. How much you have 3 months later?
In the 40 times the 1.05 to the third power. It's 46.3.
46.3. Confirm. Confirm. Okay. No. You don't even need to use mobile phone. And 46 is actually ridiculous. Okay, 40 US dollar, 1 year, 5%. How much interest rate you can earn? 5% is 1/20, right? 1/20. How much you should earn? You should earn 2, right, for 1 year. So 3 months is 1/4 of a year. So what you should earn? 0.5. Okay, so if you save 40 US dollar into the bank for 3 months with a 5% interest rate, you can get 40.5. Oh, be smart, be fast. You know, nowadays the job in financial institutions are so exhaustive. Okay, if like you are applying some job not only in China but also in the US, like this kind of question, react within 10 minutes. React within 10 seconds. Okay, after 10 seconds, the interviewer will lose interest on you. Okay, this kind of thing not even need to use calculator. Okay, so 40.5. That's the outcome if you save your money into the bank for 3 months. This is also the kind of the true cost if you purchase the stock right now and hold it for 3 months, right? Because if you spend 40 US dollar right now to purchase a stock, hold it for 3 months, 3 months later at that future time point, the true cost for purchasing this stock is actually 40.5, right? Because if you don't use this 40 to purchase, right, you save it, then you will get this from the bank saving account. right? So this is you can thinking about that like an opportunity cost. Also you can also thinking about that. That's like the true cost you should measure for your investment, right? Okay. So now we have two choices, right? We have two choices. The first to the same result, which is holding the stock, hold the stock 3 months later. With this this setting, we have two choices, right? So what are the two choices? To let us hold the stock 3 months later, what are the two choices here? Yeah, to hold the stock 3 months later, you have two ways. What are the two ways? Oh, give you a chance. You can randomly pick someone others to help. Review what?
I'm not sure.
I didn't get you clearly. Should be what? Keep what? Okay. So to have the same consequence, which is holding a stock 3 months later, from now on you have two actions to do. Okay, two possible actions. The first is to spend the $40 to purchase a stock, holding the stock until the end. Otherwise, you can try to spend nothing right now, but just sign on the forward contract, put the transaction to a future time point. You spend the forward price to get the stock. So these are two ways. These are two ways. Okay, so for these two ways, which way are more costly? Which way is cheaper? Which way is more costly? You have two ways. Purchase the stock, hold it to 3 months later. Otherwise, you can sign on a forward contract and pay 39 here to get the stock. These two ways, which one is cheaper? Confirm? Okay. Wrong. What is the cost for you holding a stock until 3 months later? You spend 40 now here, right? Hold it for 3 months, your true cost for your money is 40.5. What is the cost for you holding the forward contract? Holding it to 3 months later, you need to spend 39. Which one is more expensive? The first one is more expensive. So, with these two choices, right, you end up with the same result. If you flip the direction of one action, okay, you can offset the result by end up with nothing. Then the difference between these two will be your arbitrage profit. Right. So in this case, holding a stock to the end is more costly. Holding forward contract is cheaper. Okay, given that, I want to have a long short position. Which one I should long, which one I should short? Forward contract is cheaper. Holding a stock is expensive. Which one I should long? Confirm? Long the cheaper one, right? Confirm? Okay, great. Correct. Long short position. What do you want to hold? You always want to hold something that can have its value increase over time. So something that right now is cheaper, you tend to hold it. You tend to put it in your long position, right? We show it here last week. So you tend to long the forward and short the stock. Okay, so by day 0, I do this, and I will try to finish my transaction when the maturity t equals to 3 months later. Okay. How can we short the stock? What is the first thing we need to do to short a stock? You need to borrow it because you don't have it, right? You short sell a stock, you need to borrow it. That's the first move. Okay, short selling. Short selling means what? Short selling means you are selling securities that you do not own. Okay, so the first move is you borrow it, typically from the broker. So the broker will represent you to borrow it from other clients. Okay. What's next? What's next we should do? Pay back to whom? Pay back what? Pay back the stock. Okay, so that's the thing we need to do at the end after we borrow. Anything else I need to do here? In T0? Okay. Short selling, right? You have to sell. Short selling. You short and then sell. Okay. Sell it to the market. You get a $40. Anything we should do with the forward contract? We long the forward. Anything we need to do here? Yeah, roughly correct, roughly correct. So you purchase a forward contract. Well, actually, you don't need to have much to do. If you purchase a contract, you put it there. And virtually the purchasing of a contract do not cost you anything. Okay, it's kind of you pay almost zero to have the contract here. Okay, so the whole hold the forward. So so all the thing we have done in T0 is we borrow the stock, sell it, get the money, hold a forward contract. Anything else we forget? As there should be one more thing we should do right now. Guess. I told you. Guess. One more thing. Oh God. Okay. Yes. You cannot just put this, leave it there in the desk. Right. You're not, you're a finance student. The first lesson you learn in finance is time value of money. Right? Money always flows. It should not stop in your pocket. Okay. This $40 should invest at least in the risk-free asset to earn the 5% annual return. Okay, don't worry. Take a rest a little. We still have our random row. It's okay. Yeah, you did a lot already. It's okay. Yeah. Why? Okay. One more question. Okay, one more question. Also. Okay, so comes to here. Comes to 3 months later. Okay. What we need to do. What we need. So what is in our hand? So after we did a lot here, what is in our hand? What are in our hand? For example, if you purchase a stock here, then you hold it for 3 months. One stock is in your hand, right? So we do a lot of those things here. 3 months later, in total, what are in our hand? Just take one example will be enough. Okay. So in your hand, at least you invest $40 for 3 months. Now in your hand, your saving account should have 40.5. That's your saving income. That's the first one thing. Okay, let me take both you out and make the row again. Oh, hi. Give me one more example. So we have investment income here, okay, because of that. Anything remains in our hand here 3 months later? Anything we need to do? Get what? Uh-huh. Okay, so you already enter into the last step. Uh, let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase this a little. Okay, you're about to repay the stock that costs $40, right? So yes, yes, exactly. So because you hold a long position of the forward contract, right? So this long position means you can spend the indicated number, 39, right? You can pay the indicated number to get the stock, okay? And then you can use this stock to repay it here, okay? This stock is you borrow, right? You sell it to the market. If you do not use this full contract, you cannot have any stocks in your hand, okay? So this stock by the end repaid here, okay? So remains 40. This is your arbitrage profit, okay? So the conclusion here we want to have is this example we used to have in the first chapter is that by the start, maybe when we're talking about the forward contract, you may think that, oh, this is just a one thing that puts the current transaction to a future time point. Oh, maybe the price can be randomly determined. Okay, that's not the case, at least for futures. For forward and future contract, typically from this example, you can see that the only fair price for this forward contract is this 40.5. Okay, if the forward price is lower, you can run the arbitrage opportunity like this. If the forward price is even higher than this, you can run the arbitrage opportunity in the other direction. Okay, by long the stock and short the forward. Right. So in this way, in simple compounding, we use F0 indicate the forward or future price at time 0. This should be tied by the spot price right now. Spot price 0, we use F0 to indicate that. Multiply with the interest rate. This is a compounding. Okay, so we then rephrase this into this formula. I guess this is too simple for you as long as you learn the corporate finance because now we are just talking about a single stage, like one round of compounding. Okay, you have the interest payment only by the end of 1 year. So then your 1 year interest payment will be like this. Okay. If we increase the frequency, like we run a bond, okay, we increase the payment frequency. Okay, the coupon rate it's like a 5%, but we split the coupon rate into like maybe each quarter we want to pay 1/4 of the coupon. Then in each quarter, your money increase to this level, right? Your principal plus that quarter's coupon, right? Each quarter they pay you the coupon according to the annual coupon rate. Then you got 1/4 of it, right? So and the next round, they will pay you another round of coupon, right? So after 4 rounds, in a 4 times compounding, it will be looks like this. Okay, what is continuous compounding? Continuous compounding, we try to increase the payment frequency to infinite. So at each time point, we can identify you got a small piece from the interest payment that can enlarge your principal. Okay, so formally, in a mathematical way, we continuous compounding is taking the limitation like this. Okay, so this part, you learn that in your mathematical course, right? In the first, it should be learned in the first year. If you take the limitation, it should be right. So I'm just talking about 1 year, single year here. You can change the time length, right? If you just want to 3 months, you can multiply here with 1/4, right? If you want to 5 years, you just multiply here in the power term, multiply 5 here. So improve it. We have the forward and future price F0 should equals to this term after we adding the t parameter here. This is what we have. Okay. One more point. Future contracts are quite flexible. We don't only trade on stocks. We also trade on other products. Copper, oil, orange, rice, kind of meat, beef, everything. Okay. In this case, we can distinguish two category of types of assets, investment as well as consumption assets. Right. Investment one, basically investment asset referring to those will not change their value, change their nature after your holding period. Okay, stock is one thing. Okay, even after 20 years or 60 years, the stock is still contractually one share of the firm's equity. Right. So the nature of a stock don't change when after time pass. Also for those some special metals like gold, okay, chemically it is stable. So after years it doesn't change. For consumption asset, it do change a lot. Okay, because of many reasons. Like using orange. Okay, even if we store the orange future product like in orange juice form. Okay, but still, it's impossible for us to store it forever. After 2 years, 3 years, all the orange juice are spoiled. Right? They sour, they got bitter, they sour. Right? You cannot use it. Okay, throughout the time, the value of consumption asset will change due to quality change, due to your consumption. Okay, let's count off them very simply. Count off all of them. Say, no matter whether it's just a change because of quality or just because of your consumption, we call them all about consumption. Okay, so in that case, consumption asset will have something like this. Okay, throughout your holding period, you may consume a part of it. Okay. So now, in this example, we don't talk about our stock. We talk about orange. What's gonna happen with this process? If we borrow the orange and we pay as we sell it to the market, okay, and let's say we don't hold for 3 months, we hold it for 30 years. We borrow orange, sell it to the market. 30 years later, we need to repay it. The one lended the orange to me, how much they should ask? Okay, we don't have that much time. Okay, ideally they should ask nothing, because there should be a reasonable human that understand that if I hold orange for 30 years, there will be nothing remain. Okay, so for them, If they ask me to pay back, I pay you 0. Okay, because all the orange already expired, already spoiled. Okay, or in other ways, we can explain it as this: as long as the holding period is long enough, we consume everything. For consumption asset, nothing remains. We consume everything. Okay, so in this case, I don't pay them anything. Fairly say, we have our conclusion in this slide, the last bullet point. The portion of consumption, we give it a new name, we call it a convenience yield. Okay, because consume a portion of the good give us the convenience. Okay, this value lose in terms of the asset, we call it a convenience yield, and this value lose will decrease the future price. Okay, in an extreme case, if tier S0 is about 40, okay, it's about a basket of orange. I waited long. I'm just too hungry. Okay, just by the time I buy this basket of orange, I eat everything. Okay, after maybe 3 months later, I have a blank basket, empty, nothing there. What is the value for this orange? 0. Okay, in this case, the convenience yield is infinite. Okay, so for the consumption asset, you can mathematically show it in this way. Okay, the future consumption asset comparing to the same values investment asset, each consumption asset future price will all be lower because of the convenience yield. Okay, in other cases, you can put it simply, if I'm talking about a consumption asset, there is no equality, but rather we show it in an inequality, say we see X0 ERT, okay, the consumption asset, the F0 is never larger than it. Okay. Yeah, so that's about all of the content today. I hope you enjoy it.